everyone. Today's video is going to be about Wicca and what I like about Wiccan society, Wiccan people, and the religion in general, if it can be called a religion. And I wouldn't necessarily call it a religion. Now, I've been listening to the audiobook, Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft, and this book has been very good. I've taken a lot of notes, and I've looked up more information online and have been talking to several witches. I've met several witches so far in my life, and every single one of them has been a nice person. They haven't had a problem with me. I haven't had a problem with them. And the society in general, as far as Wiccans go, seem to be very open. They don't impose their beliefs onto you, and they will help you if you're polite to them. They'll help you in your spiritual practices. They will recommend different rituals. They recommend different herbs to use, and they will share their experiences with you as a whole. As far as the several witches that I've talked with, this isn't going to be true for every single witch, but they seem to be a very open community, whether you be male or female. And what I like about Wicca is that, especially as Buckland describes it, Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft is a great book, and he describes it down to the letter. I have another book by Buckland, the Book of Spirit Communications, and I've only gotten a little bit into this because I have so many books, but it's really good. Buckland is a very talented spiritualist, and what I like about Wicca is that there is a recognition of the male and female in nature, a male and female in divinity. There isn't a preference for one or the other, and recognizing that seems more like a realistic outlook, spiritual outlook to the universe, that there is two necessary sides to everything, the male and the female. Even when we're talking about not just humans, but animals, spirits, materials, Earth is considered a female entity because of us being basically a part of her womb in a way. Her taking care of us like she's our mother. Her gravity draws us down so that we can live on the planet. Some of these things might be symbolic, but of the mother, and not necessarily the literal translation of a mother. But I think that this understanding is very valuable. Now, another thing I like about Wicca is that most people who are part of it believe in reincarnation, that death and life are very intrinsic to each other. There is no separation. They are different curves along the same circle of life and death, of existence and temporary non-existence. And Wicca has something that I don't necessarily believe in regards to reincarnation. I believe in reincarnation, but that there is the average Wiccan person will believe that there is karma within one lifetime, and it doesn't necessarily transfer to another lifetime. Now, I'm Hindu, so I believe that it does transfer over lifetimes and lifetimes, but I see that the choices you make in a single lifetime can have a cause and effect relation within a single lifetime. I believe that there is a transfer, and continuous transfer into our souls are completely unified with the source, and many Wiccans believe in a source that everything came from, that everything manifested from, that created this whole layout that we find ourselves in. But the idea that the choices we make in a single lifetime had an effect on just that lifetime, I don't really have a problem with that belief. I have more of a problem with the beliefs of the religions that the choices you make in a single lifetime will garner eternal punishment if in an eternal afterlife with a limited amount of sins in one life. And I really like the idea of Buckland describes Wiccan funerals as being a time of celebration, of acknowledgement that the mission a person has in a single lifetime has been completed, and they're moving on to another lifetime, or the hereafter for a time, then coming back here. So it's really a time of celebration, and I love that. In the Christian world, we often see funerals as being these very somber events, and costing so much money, and putting somebody in a box and putting them in the ground instead of cremating them or burning them on a pyre and releasing their basic energy from the body, destroying the body that was just a shell in recognition of the soul that inhabited it. And in Wicca, the idea that we can all be joyous for somebody passing on because the mission is complete, their time on this earth is complete for this shell. Is very attractive. I'd love to go to a Wiccan funeral and see if how well it works. There's a lot of ale and cake in Wiccan ceremonies, and a lot of ceremonial actions, including dancing around 3 times or using a thame or ritual daggers to perform certain motions. And there seems to be a lot of recognition of the Lord and the Lady, which is the male and the female side of basically divinity of everything. The two different sides of the divinity of godhood, and I love that. Now, there isn't always a demand from witches that you worship the Lord and the Lady in certain ways. In Wicca, it doesn't seem like, okay, this is your representation of the Lord and this is your representation of the Lady. There is an openness to however you want to view the Lord and the Lady. And I love that, because I recognize the Divine Mother Kali Ma as a Hindu, and I recognize Shiv as the more masculine side. Some Wiccan people recognize, Pan as the masculine side, and maybe Gaia as the earth side, as the lady side. As we all live on this earth because of her warmth, because of her caring. There's a very large amount of openness to what you want to recognize as the Lord and the Lady, in other words. Now, when it comes down to the magic, as far as the karmic nature of the magic, there's the rule of 3. Anything that you send out into the world, as believed by Wiccans, or witches, will come back to you 3 times as intense, 3 times as hard. So if you send something negative out into the world, it's going to come back onto you 3 times as negative, as something bad that happens to you 3 times as hard as what you sent out in how you use your magic. And if you send out something positive, or you send out kindness, it's going to come back on you 3 times as intense in positivity or kindness. And that's very karmic, and that's the kind of amplified version of karma, which I definitely idealize. I mean, that is what people should live by. We should we should use our psychic powers, our senses that are more subtle, to send out positive things into the world, and expect positive things back, but not mourn over the length that it takes to get back to us. And we should definitely abhor negative magic that we send out, and just stay away from it altogether. Curses aren't a thing that's considered as appropriate in the Wiccan community at large. That's more if you get into the satanic community. That's something that I've studied as well, but I'm not really talking about that right now. And the overall picture I have of Wicca, and I'm trying to make this video short, so I've only talked about a few things about Wicca. There's much more to talk about. The overall feeling is oneness with your spiritual environment, your literal environment, and your societal environment. Trying to put out positive energy and expecting to encounter people who believe differently than you, and being okay with them. And recognizing, the different parts of the year, the different rituals that you do in different parts of the year, in order to strengthen that connection to the planetary movements and the phases that the Earth goes through wherever you are on the Earth, and that strengthening your personal relationship to every single thing that is external. Cultivating internal power within you because of that strengthened relationship. I'm highly interested in studying Wicca further. These are just my initial thoughts, and I will definitely make more videos in the future about different aspects of Wicca and some of the witches that I've met, and I've met several, and they've all been really nice, and they've helped me out quite a bit. So hey, thank you very much for watching. I hope if you're a witch or you're part of Wicca, this hasn't been offensive in any way. If it has, feel free to shoot down why it has in the comment section below. And if anybody likes this video, feel free to hit that thumbs up. And I will surely see you in the future.